Good evening. Bonafide Hustler here.
Rake and Profit.
Jameson Philippi, what up?
Cleater.
What's up? What can I say? I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
It's all good. Brandon. Brandon Penrod in the house. We have 3 green roomers here, aces of the FBA lifestyle. And this is going to be a crazy show. Q4 preparation, like how they're going to do it. We're going to get to a lot of questions and a lot of stuff like that. I'm the Bonafide Hustler. I reside in Austin, Texas, and I flip stuff on a part-time basis that I find at garage sales, yard sales, flea markets, pawn shops, swap meets, big box stores. And I put it on places like eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, my antique booth, and consignment stores in town. I'm one of the owners of the Green Room University. You can check out the second link down below. I'll introduce Mr. Steve Rakin.
You always say introduce, but you never introduce me.
Hi, Steve. Here you are. Have the show now.
How's your neck feeling, man? Anyways, what's going on, everybody? Steve Rakin here, 30 years old from Connecticut. I'm also another reseller, run a bunch of different businesses, been making money online for about 5 years, and excited to hear about what these stone cold Amazon FBA killers got to say about prepping for Q4. I'm gonna pass it over to Cleater. What's going on, John?
What's up? Since we're apparently doing ages, I'm Jonathan Cleater. I'm 29 years old, and I basically do primarily retail arbitrage, primarily Amazon, and I do mostly shoes and clothing during the year and mostly toys during Q4.
All right. Who do we want to go next? Brandon.
Okay. Let's see how awkward we can make this show in the first 5 minutes.
We can all just like sit in absolute silence for a few minutes if that would.
I'm taught in the military not to volunteer. So, my name is Brandon Penrod. I sell on Amazon, travel around the country, going to box stores and making money. Pretty much it. And I'm 37. We're doing ages.
We're doing ages. All right, cool. Jameson, what's up?
No, I'm just like, what's up, guys? I'm just kidding. My mic works fine. Jameson Philippi, I'm 35. Just turned 35 a couple weeks ago, or a week ago. I sell mainly, whatever. I sell on Amazon full time. Used to do the eBay thing, then slowly graduated over to Amazon. Now I'm kicking it, doing it on Amazon, and doing my thing.
All right, so those are the people that are on the panel today. Of course, if you're in the green room, you'll know who exactly these people are. You can tag them all day long. But let's get into the actual content of the show. I think it's really important. Now, it is a live show, so if you have any particular questions, we aim to kind of stop maybe in the middle. We have a little tiny giveaway, and at the end, we'll have a giveaway as well. Hopefully, we'll get some time for Q&A. But today, we're going to try to rip through this outline. We have to rip through it, right, Rakin? Is that the right word? Rip through it? All right. So I'm going to ask each individual person. We'll get some quick answers here. So Jameson, how much of your resale pie is FBA? Is any of it MF or eBay?
I am probably 99% FBA and 1% merchant fulfilled right now.
1% merchant fulfilled. All right,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Why would you be 1% merchant fulfilled? Because you're restricted in something, or what?
Just because a lot of times I get products a lot earlier than other sellers do, so I like to just dump them as fast as I can. MF before everybody FBAs them and the price drops.
Okay, cool. Cleater, what does MF mean for the people in the feed? People might not know this terminology. What is MF?
Well,
I was going to say, it stands for words that I can't, merchant. Well, actually, it does make me want to cuss, but MF stands for merchant fulfilled. When you do FBA, that's fulfilled by Amazon. It means you ship it to the customer, or Amazon ships it to the customer. Merchant filled means you ship it to the customer. So.
All right, cool. How much of your resale pie, Jonathan Cleater, is FBA, or is any of it MF or eBay?
About 99% is FBA, maybe 1-2% is eBay, and 0% is FBM.
I must ask you, what is the 2% that is eBay? What are you selling on eBay?
I sold a bunch of random clothing, and then I have a bunch of shoe returns. So I guess you could say shoes and clothing. When you do that volume of shoes, you get, a decent amount of returns.
Right. Brandon, what about you're 100% FBA, Brandon?
Yes, I have stuff that I need to throw on eBay, but I'm just not at where else to do it, and I don't have somebody there every day to ship. So 100% eBay or FBA right now.
Okay, out of you 3 guys that are on the panel right now, who is not at home? Like, as in, who is not in their hometown? Who is sourcing and traveling around? 2 out of the 3. Nice. But John, you're about to go out, right?
Yeah, I'm leaving in the morning, and I'll be probably 3 to 7 days, just depending on how it goes.
Okay, cool. Rakin, what about you? Are you home or are you on the road sourcing?
Do you have a home, bro?
I'm in
Are you homeless, bro?
I'm in a penthouse hotel right now. No, I'm at my house right now.
Okay. So, in regards to the RA and the holiday season, how important, and this can go to any one of you guys, but how important in the overall profit picture are a couple of months of crazy sales during Q4? Anybody can take the question there. Shall I repeat? I'll let Cleater have it because Cleater looks like he wants it so bad right now.
I would just describe it as saying that Q4 is like the most amazing thing ever. I live through the rest of the year just for the awesomeness of Q4.
Okay, cool. So Q4 is really October, November, December, but really it picks up heavily like what mid-November to about mid-December. Is that fair to say? Or till about the 20th of December? Am I right about that? Something like that? Like.
It gets heavy there. I mean, I'm definitely already seeing some of the signs, but yeah, it starts to really heavily pick up. Basically everything from Black Friday until 2 or 3 days before Christmas. And even then, if you're doing MF orders and you're overnighting them, you can still do some business.
Okay, cool. And let's talk about your best month in Q4. Cleater, what was that? Like, if top of your head, everyone knows what their best month in Q4 has been in the past. What was your best month?
I believe December of last year I did 332,000.
Jesus, that's crazy. Brandon, what about you? What was your best month so far?
Mine's horrible. My best month is actually out of Q4 because when I've gone into Q4, I've been in different situations where it wasn't
different situations.
But there was that one time I got kidnapped, but we won't talk about that. But no, it's like 14,000 was the most I've done. So, and that wasn't. You could blow that away. That's nothing.
Okay. Wait? Repeat that number again. What did you say, Brandon? I'm sorry.
It's like 14,000. Kind of embarrassing. I don't want to say.
Oh, I see. For Q4. Okay, that's your best Q4.
For December, yeah.
Okay, cool. December. And then Jameson, what about you?
Last December, I did just under 90,000.
Okay, nice. So it's definitely a big rush of, it's important to really. Let me ask you this: when you're cranking out 90,000, or Cleater's doing 300-something thousand, about how much inventory in the thousands did you have before that whole thing started? Jameson, what would you say? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000?
I had around 2,500, I believe I had going into December. So.
Okay, and then Cleater, what about you going into December to get that number?
So what you're saying is how much inventory I had in order to get that level of sales?
Yeah.
The sell-through is almost, it's not 100%, but when it comes to toys, I can usually hit about 95% sell-through. So I started, going into December, I probably had, I don't know, I think the max my inventory ever hit was like 200,000 or 300,000 because I'd sell it almost as fast as I got it in there. So
200,000 or 300,000 units?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant dollars.
I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, how many units?
Well, I can tell you that my total units for Q4 for November and December last year were just over 19,000. So wow. I think the max I ever had in there was probably about 4 or 5, but honestly, I'm not sure. I just try to sell it as quick as I ship it in.
Okay, cool. For the beginners out there that are watching this show, and I'm going to go with Brandon on this, is Q4 with FBA a good opportunity for any beginners out there? Would you suggest playing in Q4?
Beginner, like never sold on FBA.
Well, let's say they've sold on FBA and they clear the requirements of the September, October. You have to have 25 units shipped as the measurement to play in Q4. Did you get that email, right? Everyone got the email.
Yeah. You have to sell so many items in categories between certain months prior to Q4. But yeah, I would say it's a good opportunity as long as you meet the requirements. You can get into it because that's where you're gonna make, most of your money at Q4 throughout the whole entire year. Anyways,
okay. Yeah. Jameson, how many Q4s have you played in? 3? 4?
Yes, this will be my 3rd Q4 on Amazon this year.
Cleater, is this your 2nd? Am I right about that?
This will be my 3rd. I did 2015, 2016, and this will be so 3rd.
And then Brandon, how about you?
Since 2015, so whenever it is.
Did you sell in the Q4 of 13?
Yeah.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 5.
There you go. That's my
wow.
You know how many days I spent sitting up at night wishing I had been selling in 2013? Life would have been so beautiful. Sorry. Continue.
Here's a great question that just rolled into the feed. I'm gonna give this to Jameson, but everything I scan at the stores is restricted. How do I even begin to sell it with Q4? Help me, please. Michelle. That's from Michelle in the feed to Jameson.
That's actually a good question. I actually met up with a friend when I was in Pennsylvania who worked at an Amazon warehouse for like 4 years, but didn't know what Amazon FBA was. And a month ago, he never sold anything on Amazon, and he already got ungated in some of the toy categories that are restricted by spending a couple $100 on some invoices through a wholesaler, and they got him all the information he needed to get ungated in categories that most new sellers are not able to sell in. So it doesn't seem like it's extremely hard. So you could actually get the ball rolling now and be able to sell for Christmas time if you put in a little bit of work and a little bit of effort to get unrestricted in some of these toy categories or subcategories that they have.
Yeah. Let's talk about the changes of Q4 from a Q4 to another Q4. You know, it seems like 3 years ago, Q4 was probably the best out of all of them. But like, y'all are still cranking down great money in these Q4s and even last Q4. But last Q4 was really one of the big ones where there were so many restrictions. Remember that? And there was already a lot of things that had changed. So from last year to this year, what has changed now? Is it more IP claim, or what is it? Not IP, infringement claim, right? Is that what am I thinking
IP
of
claims,
here? IP claims, right?
Intellectual property right claims have definitely become more common. I have monitored them pretty closely. I haven't seen too many in the toy space. Brands to avoid in toys, Mechano, obviously fingerlings have gotten pretty dicey. And then also I have seen them for QuickTime. QuickTime is most of those basically Lego watches and Lego clocks. It is not the Lego keychains, and it's not actual Lego, just the clocks. And then there's a bunch of non-toy brands that I've seen popping up. And it is definitely, I personally am friends with a seller. I won't give out his name, but just to give you an idea of volume, he'll do during Q4, he'll do 100K plus a day. We're talking a multi-million dollar seller. And he got enough IP claims. They actually shut his account down for a little over 2 months to get back on. Wow. So it's basically, the sad thing is a lot of it is a lie, because it's the company saying, since we don't know who this person is who's buying from us, they're basically, they created this listing. They don't have a right to these images. We're shutting them down. And Amazon basically just says, we don't want to be bothered to prove it's not true. You have to do it. So at that point, at this point, I would probably hire an attorney if it was severe enough. But it's definitely changing the landscape. You got to be really careful.
Brandon, how do you feel about that statement? Because you're going, I'll just say it, you're going balls to the wall with Q4 this year. And how does that make you feel? And you're in the same boat as Jameson, Cleater.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
Well, I mean, you gotta be leery of it. You gotta know that, hey, that's there. Just be smart, and still can't let that get in the way. If you do, then you're not gonna go buy anything. You're gonna be too hesitant. So you just gotta be smart about it. Network with other people and learn from their mistakes, and try not to. That's why you get out in the network and talk to people and you learn what you definitely don't buy and to shy away from. So you just can't let it get in the way. I mean, if you do that, then you're not going to be successful.
Yeah. So definitely got to spread thin. I mean, there's so many things to buy and sell, Raken. Like when you go to, it's the same thing. I mean, there's all kinds of restrictions, even when you do the pawn shop game or whatever. Like some things that were not restricted 1 month can get restricted. Doesn't mean it all ends there. It means try not to have a whole lot of money wrapped up into one thing.
Right. I mean, that's the name of the game with Amazon, And in terms of what you were talking about before, I mean, when you're doing retail arbitrage and you're selling other brands, I mean, that's why you see some big sellers just moving to wholesale and just moving to private label, because when you're selling retail arbitrage, there is a slight chance that, you can get kicked off. But, if you think about all the various types of businesses, there's always one or two things, right? Like there's usually one or two things that are always like hedged up against your business that could take you down completely. So it's like, should you avoid retail arbitrage because, Amazon's not looking at the receipts anymore and various factors? I mean, it's something to be leery of, but it's just part of the game. You're rolling the dice in a sense.
Yeah. And you roll the dice with a lot of things. I mean, I think Amazon with the app or whatever, I mean, they give you enough data, right, to make an educated guess on where this thing will end up. But like things like that fingerling thing, right, that 3 weeks ago, it was cleared and everyone was trying to find a bunch of them, right? But then something came down. Are those bogus claims, or are some of those really the company fingerling saying, hey, you can't do this?
fingerling ones seemed pretty questionable. One of them was coming from the name of the person sending the email was an author of a book called Fingerlings who is not alive anymore. So clearly he's not sending emails. My theory is that someone had a VA probably overseas, and they just Googled who's the name of the owner of Fingerlings, and this VA didn't know any better. They just saw the name associated with the book and assumed that was the owner and started sending emails from that name. But it's really tough to say because there are definitely, like if you look at Fingerlings right now, most of them have Chinese counterfeiters on them. So I probably am just going to stay away from them completely because it's becoming a crap show pretty fast.
Okay, cool. Interesting. Okay, so let's talk about 3 takeaways in regards to Q4 FBA. Each one of you guys will give a takeaway, right? So when you think of Q4, the first thing that comes to your mind as a takeaway, Jameson.
My biggest takeaway from last Q4 is don't go so deep on products.
What'd you go deep on last year? What'd you go deep on, Jameson? What was it? Just tell us.
I think I went like 250 plus or 200 something deep on Speak Out. I didn't lose money, but I think at the end I was only making $1 or $2 a game.
I was just about to say you're probably making like 50 cents or $1 when that thing was running down, right?
Yeah. So I held on to it way too long, and the profits never hit.
Why did you hold on to it so long? Were you thinking pie face in your head? Like, what were you thinking in your head the whole time?
I mean, it did a lot of the same things Pie Face would do. Like right after summertime, I was the only FBA seller selling them for $99 all day long, and I couldn't even keep them in stock. And then it did very similar things. So then I just, throughout the whole year, they remained around $5 to $10 profit here or there, and then Amazon would come in and instantly sell out. So I just went deep on them, like targeted to buy 2 get 1 free, and then I just went to every Target and cleared every single shelf. And I ended up, I think I was with Steve then. I think we did some sourcing around that time, and we were buying them too. And I think I did like 220, 230 of them units altogether.
Jameson, I still have nightmares of you filling up my garage, me trying to walk out, and there's just, I mean, it was just like, it was unbelievable. I mean, you must have had 1,000 units in my garage. It was insane.
I remember that. Oregon Trail and Speak Out, we did the board game thing when we were in Connecticut.
You never gave me my cut, man, for me allowing you to store all my stuff. Where is that cut, man?
It's in all the money you made off that video we did at your house.
Dude, Steve's made like 3 or 5K off that video, just so you know, right? Come on, tell me, man.
That video is, I think it's made like over $3,000. So
you told me it made $3,000 like a year ago, so it's got to be doing better than that.
It buys.
I'll show you behind the scenes. I'll let you know.
Just so you know, Steve can afford a new MacBook Pro every year because of that video, Jameson.
And he doesn't even answer my phone calls now.
Ooh, man, low blows on the show, dude. All right, biggest takeaway from last year, Cleater.
So I don't know if you remember this, but I did a green room show a year or 2 years ago, and I discussed how my goal was always to be Toyberg. Back in Christmas of 15, anyone selling them will remember that Toyberg would just like show up on a list.
I remember who you're saying.
And they would drop like 1,000 units on it, and that would be it. So I continue my march to be Toyberg. I can't say I completely agree with Jameson in the sense that I made money on Oregon Trail, I made money on Speak Out, but basically as soon as I saw that it was a profit, I liquidated all my units fairly efficiently. But we've gone to a lot of steps. Like this year, we have a new 2,000 square foot warehouse. And we've set the entire thing up to be able to prep units just as quickly as possible. My team will spend most of October scanning and researching all the different toy lines. We're putting together a master list of what we want to buy. And yeah, just do everything bigger and better. And I mean, you have a little more capital, you have a little more experience. And at the end of the day, I had one SKU, I was just looking, there was this one line of toys, and I will give a hint that they were found in the girls section. And I will say that they were a type of dolls. And on this line of dolls, I sold $72,000 in Q4 of just that line of dolls.
Oh, wow.
So, I do go pretty deep.
It's Baby Alive, isn't it? I'm just kidding. Okay.
It is not.
Oh, okay. Is it Monsters High?
It's not. And that's the last one I'm going to answer.
I'm just kidding. All right, cool. I had to say that. Okay, so all right, so let's talk about key takeaway from Brandon. Last Q4.
I would say not buying too early, not clearing shelves too early, and holding on to the items.
So you regret not buying earlier this
No.
year? Oh yeah, you're correcting that.
Don't buy too early.
Oh, okay.
And be stuck with it, and you're running out of capital, and then you're sitting there holding stuff, thinking, "No, it's going to go up," when technically maybe you should have waited another month to buy those items.
Okay.
Make sense?
Let me ask you guys this real quick, and then college pickers in the chat. What's up, Eric? Good to see you, man. Thanks for moderating the chat, by the way, because it's going so nuts right now. No, I'm just kidding. Our chat never goes nuts. We always have good people in the chat. But thanks to Eric, he's in the chat. But let me just reflect on something really quickly. And I'm not going to toot the horn of the green room or anything. But college picker Eric, what was it? 2 years ago, guys? Help me remember this. Remember the Catan craze? Was that that was 2 Q4s ago, correct?
2015.
2015 Q4, right? One tip from like college picker, and I think I want to say he did the Oregon Trail tip too, but you know, how much, let's say, revenue, right, did Catan pull for you guys, let's say in 2015? Jameson, did you ever scout those things out? Did you look for them? There's Barnes & Noble, they were at Targets, they weren't at Toys R Us, I don't think.
Dude,
but anyway.
We spent like 3 days together traveling through like 4 states looking for those things.
Oh yeah, that was in Florida.
Every time I went on a Periscope, Jameson's like, "Do not say a word. Do not let them know what store we're in front of right now." Like, that's when I got to know how paranoid some of these guys are, but for good reason.
Well, to be clear, Jameson went through a phase where he literally just would get on Periscope and sell out as many polos as he could to make friends. And it was like he wanted people to like him, but they just liked him for his polos. So, you know, it was if I was not dating his mom, I would have had to have taken it out for that one.
I second that.
So would you consider the revenue in the thousands, Jameson, for that one tip?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, totally.
Penrod and Cleater, did you guys mess with the Catan stuff 2 years ago, for example?
I found a few of them. Yeah. I didn't like actively go to every store just seeking that, but if I run across them, I try not to chase. Like, I'll chase in October, but come November, there's
Steve's got one.
But
Talk, Steve. Let's see what that thing is. Is that the real?
Yeah, we got a little. This is actually one that I found I found 2 of them recently, actually. The other one was a blue one, but
you should have gotten it listed quicker. It's done now.
Oh,
yeah, don't sell that on Amazon anymore.
Is it restricted now?
I know. I went to go freaking send it out. I'm like, crap.
What's it gonna pull on eBay then? Like what, $100? I remember my last one on Amazon was $94.
Sold listings were like $50 or $40. They were really crappy.
Wait. It'll go up.
Yeah, I will.
You only paid $4 for it. Wait.
So you're saying wait that out. I want to know right now, what would you guys do considering, we'll start with Brandon. What would you do? Can't ship this into FBA because it's restricted. Can you merchant fulfill it, or is that restriction for anything on Amazon?
I think it's anything. Isn't it?
Huh?
Right, Cleaver?
Yeah, they're not just going to restrict FBA and leave merchant fulfilled open.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I want to get across to the people. So what would you do?
Something like that, I would, on anything like that, I would, especially this time of year, I would wait until November and just check back on eBay what the prices are.
Yeah, I would stick it in a closet and forget about it for a year or 2 years.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like, you know, with one good tip, I mean, that's the thing. But that's also like something to be talking about right now. When you have a good bolo, right? And I want to give props to Morris. He did a pretty good write-up in the green room about how if you have something really good, especially in Q4, as much as you want to be sharing and giving to other people and all that kind of stuff, you know, putting it in a 800-person, 900-person group like the green room, or putting it into a 40,000 group like some of the other free groups out there, that bolo is going to do nothing but just, what is it, Jameson? What's the term that you always say now?
Tank, baby.
Yeah. That's just what it is. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I get it. Like, you know, that's the reason why Cleater's making a list. He's working hard. He's doing all this kind of stuff. So he's not reacting to things when it comes to go time. I mean, he's got the list. And Cleater, when you make a list and you got what you want on it, do you detract from the list in any way? Or is that all that you mess with, or you and your team messes with?
Oh, no, we're very flexible. So what we do, well, I don't know, how detailed do you want me to go? I mean, you want me to kind of explain the system?
Well, we have 35 minutes left in the broadcast, so try not to smoke all that up.
So for the first 30 minutes, I want to talk about my childhood. You know, so what we do is we, for me, it's partially about building a list, and it's partially about training my team as far as knowing what toys are. I don't. Well, I'm gonna use 2015 examples because those are pretty much dead. In 2015, dyno trucks were big, and I had started scanning them in November because I was pretty new then, and I was still working a full-time job up until mid-November. So I was kind of after work, I'd go to Toys R Us and I'd scan around, and I had figured out they were a Toys R Us exclusive. I'd also found a bundle listing where people were putting like all of the little trucks together and making a bundle, and it was selling for a pretty good profit. So because I already knew in advance they were a Toys R Us exclusive, and Pie Face was that year too, and I had seen Pie Face where obviously Amazon was running out on it. So I had just started educating myself. This is what Amazon is not able to keep in stock. This is what is exclusive to these particular stores. This is what a lot of people are aware of. These are the things not a lot of sellers have found. So I would say the list is more like a guide, because what will happen is during Q4 you'll see sales. I think probably Target's board game sale, spend 100, save 25, is a pretty famous one. Like with Joking Hazard, it was 4 games for $100, save 25. It was perfect. But obviously that's restricted now. So for me, it's just finding out what Walmart and Target and Toys R Us and Walgreens, what do they have in their inventory. I've been hitting some local outlets, just really familiarizing myself. And unlike Brandon, I did what Brandon did in 2015 when I had lower capital. Now that I have more capital, I'll probably have, I don't know, maybe like $40,000 or $50,000 invested in some of the harder to find toys going into Q4, and then I'll keep amping up my buying until hopefully, if everything goes right, we could be spending about $150,000 every 2 weeks if all goes according to plan once we get right, into the heart of things.
Right. We're going to jump ahead to one of the questions real quick because this is the perfect time to do it. But Cleater, how big is your team now, and what does your team consist of?
We are probably going to bring in somebody for the holidays, but it's still me, my manager Karen, who you met, my friend Rick, he does a lot of the driving, Katie, who she does a lot of our listing and prepping, and then we're probably going to bring in someone to help with the shopping, because we do our shopping in 4- and 5-man teams. So we're going to add another van loader to the team, and we have 2 vans and a trailer.
A trailer. Okay, cool. Wow. And about when they go out to a sourcing run, like just a week-long thing, or you're like, yeah, go out to that town, come back as fast as possible, or do you ship to Prime Zero Prep? Like, what are you guys doing? I know you said you had a 2,000 square foot warehouse, but is it cost effective to grab the stuff, bring it all the way back to where you guys live, prep it there, or was it wise to just ship it off to PZP?
In my case, I will prep it all. If I do a large OA order and I'm running behind, I might send it to a prep center, but we should do it all in-house. We've put a lot of systems in place that our goal is to, I've bought, like, I think I've showed my tape machine, and I've really, like, we've already been hoarding Lowe's boxes. I have close to 500 large boxes already stacked up, because the goal is just to be able to bang stuff out as quick as you can. And it can get pretty crazy. Like, that's why we need the warehouse, because one day in Q4, they were running us a one-day sale, and I managed to spend $51K in one day. And you can imagine how many toys that was. We had to literally, like, unload the vans as we prepped.
That's crazy, man. So you're talking about successful systems and stuff like that. Raken, how important is a system when it comes down to a process?
Well, I mean, a process and a system are almost like the same thing. Well, I mean, to get to the end result, there's certain things that you have to do. And when it comes to a lot of systems, it helps you to save time. And if you put a system in place, the purpose of it is to save time in a sense, and to continuously get the result that you're looking for. So it's really, really important, because as you grow, you're going to have a lot more things that you have to do. And it's important to have systems in place, because if you don't, then things aren't going to get done and your business isn't going to grow.
Yeah. Cleater, the day that you spent 51K on toys, were you thinking this is the greatest day of my life, or let's ship this stuff out immediately so I can get some money back? Like, what was going on through your head?
So I guess I'm kind of proud of my guys there. My friend Brock, my business partner Brock, was shopping with us, and I had been there for, I think, the 4th or 5th store, and we were up to about 35K in spend, and I was just exhausted. I wasn't feeling well. I hadn't slept that much, so I actually was like, let's call it a day, and went home. And then my team pretended like they were going to go home, and then when I went home, they went and hit 2 more stores. So they kind of surprised me on that one. But yeah, we took the next day off, and then the day after that, we pounded it out as quickly and efficiently as we could.
How long does it take to process $51,000 of toys?
In my old warehouse was a little smaller, and I think it took us, I think we got the majority of it out. We probably got the bulk of it out in about 3 days, and then we're cleaning up all the stuff that needed to be polybagged. But my goal is to do 48-hour turnaround time this Q4. But I'm also going to spread the spending out a little bit, hopefully.
Nice.
Not doing so much in one day.
CPC, Cleater Prep Center. That's your new LLC, man. On the off season, you can just be a prep center for other people's stuff, man. Anyway, $1 million idea. Just kidding. Okay, so let's talk about number 9. Outside of toys and games, are there any other categories that you should really be looking at? Let's go with Brandon on that one. I'm talking about Q4 here, so like toys and games are clearly like the big rage and everything like that. But are there other categories, Brandon, that you're like, yeah, I like this one. It's a sleeper category or something like that?
I don't know if there's anything that I've looked at that's like a sleeper category, but I think maybe the obvious, the seasonal, apply for Thanksgiving and you can look at Halloween too, all the seasonal at Christmas time. But I don't know if there's. I haven't thought of a sleeper category or anything like that. What I see in front of me is what I'm buying. So.
Okay, Jameson, what about you?
Besides the obvious toys and video games, shoes, clothes. That's about all I
There's
get.
some like really low-ranked clothing in Q4 that sells fast.
Yeah. I did decent with some clothing last year, sweaters and stuff like that.
Okay, so sweaters, like Christmas themed things, you mean?
No, just like hoodies and stuff like that.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's wintertime.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
That may be why it's low rank. I don't know.
So are both of y'all, like you and Cleater, you both of y'all grown beards out? Because Cleater's always look the same to me, but like you, Brandon, look completely different right now. Like Cleater, you're gonna do the no shave till what is it? No shave November? Is that what it's called?
No shave December 31st.
Jeez.
Well, I would say during Q4 I sometimes forget to do basic things like sleep, so it's possible. But I try to keep mine about the same length and then trim it back. But we shall see. Just depends on how good the sourcing is. If I have time to, have my barber take care of my beard and I still be Jameson sales, then I don't care what he challenges me to.
And then Brandon, you're not shaving until what?
Never again.
Till December 31st or maybe after. May not even get a haircut till then.
Jeez. Okay.
Just depends on how much I'm sourcing.
Wow, it's crazy, man. Crazy. What's kind of interesting, Brandon, is are you a single man team right now, or you have a helper in Fort Worth or Waxahachie? What is it called? Waxahachie. Okay.
Yeah. Wax. Don't say wax. We don't wax out there. We Waxahachie.
Okay. Do you have a worker at you have a warehouse too, right? Like a tiny place, correct?
Yeah, it's part-time, but I haven't been sending anything back here lately. So I'm not at the point. I'm not a big baller like Cleater where I have more money than time. So that's all I can afford right now is just a part-timer.
Okay.
Till I get the capital.
And then Jameson, are you solo this
Yes,
Q4?
I'm solo. Yes.
Wow, in hotel rooms and just blasting it out, right?
That's right. That's what I do.
Unbelievable. Okay, so let's talk infrastructure for each one of you guys. So we talked about Cleater's infrastructure. He's got employees, has trucks, he's got plans. He might involve a prep center if he absolutely has to, but probably not. So let's talk about you, Jameson. No employees, no trucks. Do you have a plan where you're going to be spending most of your time?
Right now I'm working on either like setting up an Airbnb or something for a few months, and so that way I can just work in one location. I'm thinking about Minnesota, Wisconsin area.
That was my next question. Like, what makes you pick the location? Is it just the radius of amazing stores around you?
Yeah, just what I can get to, because I want to be right in the middle where I can hit one chain of stores in a different region and then one chain of stores in another region where I can be about 4 to 5 hours from different chains of stores that most of the country can't get to. Okay. So I'm going to try something new this year and give that a shot.
How big is your car, Jameson? What kind of car do you have?
I have a Chevy Equinox, so it's not huge.
Okay.
I can fill it up in a few hours sometimes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Have you thought about maybe getting into a van or something bigger like that?
Was it? I don't remember if it was not last Q4, but the Q4 before that. I rented one of those conversion vans where the whole back is just gutted out. I did like the unlimited miles. It was like $400 for the week, and it was like during one of the Target's best sales. And for that whole week, I just filled up the van, and I would like bring off like 20 boxes to UPS and stuff. And it was awesome. I'll probably do something like that again this year.
Okay, so that's for like if a sale comes down and you notice it's good, that's when you're gonna get the go signal and probably try to rent this thing for a couple days, right?
Yep. Yep,
Okay.
definitely.
It's awesome, man. Are you gonna involve a prep center? Or are you gonna do it all, Jameson?
I'm actually looking into a prep center right now, so I'm gonna start doing OA here too for this Q4, so I can try to ramp up my numbers a little bit better.
Okay, cool. Brandon, what is a prep center for the people that don't know what a prep center is?
Talk to me.
Well, it's only Brandon on the panel here. But,
The other Brandon.
You're cutting out. So prep center, they basically you send your stuff to them, or you send your stuff to them via FBA, online arbitrage, and they basically send it into Amazon for you.
Okay. So you never actually physically touch the stuff, right?
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, yeah, either well, I understand it. You do it one of two ways. You go and source it online and it gets shipped there, or you can source it yourself and ship it to them.
Okay, cool. So let's take a break for a second. Let's get a couple questions answered from the feed. Raken, I think it's contest time, and lo and behold, we have our Jameson Philippi here, who actually behind the scenes is like, "Hey, Bonafide, is it okay if I give some free stuff away on your show?"
I love it.
You said no.
I said no because I always like messing with you, man.
I know how you were.
What do we have? What are the two prizes? What do we got so far, man?
We're gonna give away two $10 Starbucks gift cards.
Ooh, what? Okay, someone that gets a $10 Starbucks gift card. What are they supposed to buy with these things, Jameson? What are you gonna get a chai tea latte? Is that what you always get? Or
no. Quadruple shot of espresso is what I start my morning on.
quad shot.
Yes.
Jeez. Okay.
How's the crash on that?
Yeah.
It's fine. If you keep the buzz going, you'll be all right.
He's like, if you never stop, you're just fine.
Words of addiction.
I had a triple shot when I was with him, and I thought I was going to run through the wall at Target.
That's when you like get halfway to the store and realize you forgot your car.
Oh my gosh. All right, Jameson. So we have one of these $10 cards up for grabs. Do you have a system of how you want to kind of give it out?
Ooh, okay, we'll let you do the first one. You guys can think of the first thing, and I'll think of something.
You'll think of the second one. I'll let Raken think of the first one since I thought of the first one the last time. Raken, what's the question that they need to answer?
Okay, so the answer, you're going to essentially, the people who are watching, you're going to put it in the comments, and it's going to be the first person who gets it right, Chris?
Yep.
Comments?
I am.
All right, so about 10 minutes ago, I held up a game that people were pretty surprised that I found for $3.99 from Savers, and we were talking about how a couple of years ago we made a ton of money from it. What game is it?
Wow, Steve.
Totally killed that one.
All right, we got Tanya in the house. She wins. Because Jonathan Cleater
gave me.
I won!
All right, so Tanya, I want you to hit up Jameson behind the scenes. He'll get it to you. Is that a fair thing to do, Jameson? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I think
cool.
You might know who Jameson is, Tanya. And Jameson, I'm pretty sure you know who Tanya is. So
They've
that's
met
good.
before, right?
No, I
They've
don't
met
know her.
before.
I don't know what Thrifty Treasure is. I'm just playing.
Okay, so let's go on with the show. We're actually doing really well. We're going to kind of speed it up here. So I don't want to go through 11. It's kind of dumb. We'll go through this one real quick. When does the real rush start to become evident with Q4? When you realize it, not in the way that you rush to the stores or buy stuff, but when you start seeing sales really, really pick up. Because I've been told, like, the best deals that you'll ever get on something, whether it be like an electronic or something like that, and if you look through Camel, a lot of times some of the best deals are like the week before Thanksgiving. Have you noticed that? Or sometimes 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and then after that it goes down, or it might ramp up like right before Christmas again. But when does the real rush become evident? Cleater, what have you seen?
I mean, all through November, I do start to see spikes. And then I would say anytime after Black Friday, it gets pretty crazy. But there's definitely volume like the last 2 weeks of November. But after Black Friday is when it gets really crazy.
Okay. So what about you, Jameson? Are you starting to see spikes now, or that's too early, right?
No, I don't think so now. I mean, my sales generally are going up because I'm putting in more work, but I think, yeah, probably like what they said around, like November and stuff like that, Black Friday and stuff.
Okay. And then Brandon, when you start seeing when do you notice the first real good spike of like traffic to your Amazon store?
I think it's like in November.
Yeah. Is it pre-Thanksgiving or after?
Oh, pre-Thanksgiving for sure.
Okay, so they start seeing it in pre-Thanksgiving. So kind of like shows you guys out there, if you're going to play with Q4, that you might want to start like now sourcing things, or at least doing your research now, so you can get your foot in the door. Come October, maybe there's some really good sales from Target or one of these other places, and that might be the time to start pulling the trigger on some low-priced inventory, right? Jameson, you are notorious for these Target sales and like knowing everything about them and stuff. How can you supercharge a Target sale? Like there's a sale at Target, you see it in the paper, you go there, it's there on the shelf. How do you compete even further with Amazon? Like, I know because Target doesn't have rewards points like Toys R Us did, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have is it 5% back with the card? Help me out.
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
right?
the red card. You have to get
so there's a red
5%
card,
off.
and you get like double the return like time frame or something weird like that. But how can you supercharge that even more? Like, how can you? And I know Cleater probably knows the answer to this, but like, how can you get even lower in there?
You could steal the stuff.
Oh, okay,
But
that's pretty good.
No, yeah, right now Target is the Target card. That's it. Unless you're finding gift cards for more than 5%, which you're probably not. The Target card is your best.
Okay.
Is your best discount.
John, is there any way to supercharge like your entry point?
With Target it's tough because.
What'd you say?
Buying a note sales tax state.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you use the red card, that is the edge, right?
I did once have it, and I'm not sure that they were supposed to do this, but I did once have a store give me 5% off of my transaction because I used Target gift cards to pay for a portion of it. So I technically stacked. I double dipped on that one, but for the most part, I have occasionally found 7% off Target gift cards, but it's typically just the 5%.
Okay.
Target is tricky because if you draw too much attention, they might kick you out.
Question from Thrifty Treasures. Jameson, hopefully you know who this person is. Do you use the Cartwheel app for Target to get more discounts? Do you ever use the Cartwheel thing?
Yes, I use Cartwheel almost every day. I just use it today.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so there you go. What about Penrod? When it comes to like Toys R Us, are you ever part of their like email thing behind the scenes where they give you like first dibs on toys that they're only gonna, or it might even just be a special order toy only, like internet order only? You ever seen that before, Penrod?
Yeah.
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 So how does someone, Cleater, get on that list? Because you're a Toys R Us genius, like to get on the email list where you can start seeing some of these like really exclusive. And the only one that comes to my mind right now is 2 years ago. There was one called, it was the silver or the gold dino exclusive robot dinosaur. I think you know what I'm talking about, right, Cleater?
I do. I mean, I'm on their email list, so I see all of their notifications and sales there. But I really don't spend that much time chasing like I bought up 200 something Hatchimals in like October, November, early November, but I didn't chase them during Christmas. Like I think I've held one of the SNESs or whatever they're called. So I spend my time trying to focus on the lower hanging fruit because you can either like go through a ridiculous amount of effort to get 1 or 2 units or get something that's maybe not quite as profitable, but you can get hundreds of them.
Okay, I love that analogy. That's actually really smart. Okay, so cutoff dates. Let's talk about cutoff dates, meaning the last real day that you send in significant amounts of volume to Amazon. When do you think the cutoff date will be? I mean, there seem to be dropping boxes. When I say boxes, they seem to be dropping warehouses in so many towns now, right? That's only going to speed up things because as I observed it last year, there was like a huge kink in the system. Like you would send things out and they would have to get rerouted and it might take 7 to 10 days before you see your stuff live in your inventory, right? But those days to me seem kind of over. Like they've built the infrastructure's there. Am I wrong about this, Jameson, or do you anticipate that maybe the 18th of December will be your last ship-in date or something like that?
Yeah, that's usually what I do. And I'm actually glad you repeated that because I was too busy reading the comments. I forgot what you said. But yeah, around the 18th, 19th is when I stop shipping stuff in. Okay.
And do you find that your stuff that you ship in right now, Jameson, for wherever you are in America, does it take, what's the average time it takes to get into your screen, into your account, into your actual?
2 days usually.
2 days? That's pretty good. That's what I kind of experienced too. Penrod, what about you? You're in a different location. What do you see? When you ship something off, what is it? 2 days? What's the most?
Well, okay. What was the question? I'm reading the comments.
Oh, so okay, that's all good. The when's okay? Let's ask this question. When's the last day that you're gonna send in stuff to Amazon? Like a big heaping amount of stuff to Amazon.
All the way through December. Like you got your group of items that you want to sell by Christmas because they're Christmas items, and then you got groups of items that will sell after Christmas into January. Because January, I do just as well in January as you can in December, I think. So I don't really have like my cutoff date is probably like Jameson said on the 18th or so for my items I want to sell by the 22nd, 23rd for Christmas, but I'll still keep the items in throughout.
Okay. Clear, what about you? Your last day to send in, you think?
What was the question? I was reading the comment. No, I'm just kidding. For me, it'll probably be the 18th. We've kind of planned it out to say that Monday the 18th will be our last day. I will say that toys don't necessarily just immediately die after Christmas, because a lot of times when you're selling toys FBA, the reason you're making the profit is because Amazon has ran out, and they don't like magically get 15 semi-truckloads the day after Christmas. So there's a lot of toys that I can, if I wind up selling after Christmas, it's not a huge deal because it'll take them at least the first couple of weeks of January to fully get stocked up. It just becomes riskier because, I mean, a truckload of it is coming. You just hope you get sold out before it gets there. So if I ship on the 18th and a few things have to be sold, you know, closer to New Year's, people will spend their Christmas gift cards and I'll be okay.
Okay, cool. Jameson, what are you going to do different this year than last year? Significantly different.
Work harder. That's what I'm going to do different.
Dude, you were working really hard last year, though. Like, honestly, Rakin, right? Like, when he's, I mean, weren't you guys like sourcing like a madman, both of y'all?
That was 2015.
Okay, but still, like, you were working hard in 2015. I remember that. Rakin's like, I saw it in the videos.
I kind of got burned out last year, right before like 2 months before Q4. I just got sick of it and just like stopped working. Luckily, I had enough inventory in stock to keep me afloat for a few months. But yeah, I'm gonna work a lot harder this year. That's for sure.
So what does that mean by working harder? You know, because you can work hard physically or you can work hard mentally, planning, preparing. You know, obviously you're going to be on the road. So what does that encompass, working harder? Give a couple examples.
I'm going to put in more hours this time, obviously. I got it to the point where the more hours I put in, the more I make, because this is just, you know, become a lot easier to do. And I don't have to like do a lot of work learning because I've just, you know, this is the third Q4 under my belt. So it just, a lot of the same items. Yeah, a lot of the items that I sold last year, I know we're going to do the good this year. So I've already started stocking up on some of them items and just getting as many items as I can.
Cool. And Too Good says to quote Gary V, work your face off is what it says. It's pretty cool. I like that one. Work your face off, Jameson. What about you, Cleater? What are you going to do significantly different this year as opposed to last Q4?
Well, I plan to take more naps. No, I'm just kidding. So I adopted a goal where during Q4 last year, I didn't want to ever be in line at a register, and I didn't want to ever have to load my own vehicle. So I'm really trying to continue that. I walk in, I help Karen fill a bunch of carts of stuff, and then I just leave, and they go ahead and do the rest. So
where do you leave to the next location?
Yeah, to the next store. So we'll run like 3 or 4 vehicles, and that way there's always someone filling carts. There's always someone checking out. And then there's basically, as soon as that person does, they can go to the next store and start checking out. Because if you do, you know, 15, 16 cartfuls, it takes quite a bit of time for the cashiers to process it all. So you gotta allow quite a, actually a couple hours sometimes for that. So
you're going to some of these different places, Cleater. Like, does it ever occur in your head, like, oh man, like I might not be able to pull this off in this store because this is going to throw on like a huge like red flag, like I'm a reseller, and some of these stores don't like resellers, right?
Well, when it comes to Target, I have to do it a little differently. I'll blitz them. Like I'll have like 5 people hit self-checkouts at different sides of the store in the big Targets, and one person will go through the checkout line. So I'll just spread everyone out and just start pounding it through. As far as, and obviously Walmart could care less, and Toys R Us. I have Toys R Us managers I had a Toys R Us manager who told me last year that this year, if he's still working there, he might be able to open up an hour early for just me and my guys to buy stuff.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
I would imagine with the bankruptcy issue, I would imagine Toys R Us will be fairly friendly. They're always friendly to me, but I would imagine they'll be fairly friendly to us. You just have to, if you're new to reselling, you got to be really careful with Toys R Us because they do mark stuff up, and during Christmas they will mark stuff up more. So it's just Target is easier. I like Toys R Us, but Target is definitely easier from a math perspective because Toys R Us will mark it up. So just be careful. Don't get me wrong. I love Toys R Us, but they will surprise you. You'll find out the retail was off when you get home and look at another store.
What are the chances that you're the only thing keeping Toys R Us afloat right now, Cleater?
I'm going to say probably not. Now, I will say there was a store in Atlanta who told me that I was the day after Black Friday, I accounted for 10% of their sales. So,
oh, my God.
For the day after Black Friday, which is a very busy day for them, and I have had stores on normal days where I was, 30% of their sales, but I would say no, overall, they don't know who I am.
They were all like at the door waiting for your trucks to come. They're like, I hope Cleater comes today. I hope he does.
They well, what I try to do is I try to compete because and I'm using Toys R Us as an example because I'm friends with the managers, but I try to kind of compete them against each other. And by that I mean we had a manager who was kind of a pain to deal with, and I kind of implied to her that we would shop at other stores if she continued to be a pain. And she changed her tune for sure because they are competing internally to hit numbers, and if I'm spending $10K at one store and none at your store, I mean, that's going to make it really hard for you to catch that other store. But, like, the stores that are really cool to me, I've sent them pizza. I even brought them a Hatchimal. I think I mentioned that in the green room last year. So the trick is just knowing who your friends are. And I do have one young lady at one of the stores who got promoted to manager, and she always will text me when new stuff comes in and stuff like that, too. So.
Wow. Inside scoop, man. Pizza goes a long way, doesn't it?
Well, hey, it's always made me happy, so,
Pizza's freaking good, though, man.
Always.
I love pizza. In fact, I didn't have pizza today, but my neighbor was like, "Hey, you want pizza?" I was skateboarding outside, and he's like, "Hey, you want pizza?" I'm like, "No, not today." He's like, "Okay, cool." But he does that like almost every single day, so that's the reason why I said no. Anyway, I like Domino's. I don't know why. I'm a Domino's freak when it comes to the good pizza here in this town. It's like 2 seconds from my house. All right, so let's talk about dire advice that you want to give other Q4 FBA players that are, they've cleared the restrictions. Let's say that they are unrestricted in a fair amount of things. They are cleared to play with Q4 and FBA, meaning that they've sold the quantities that they're supposed to, right? I think you have to sell 25, not related to toys and games, but just overall, you have to have 25 items shipped through Amazon, through FBA, from September 3rd to the end of October. So that's the measurement period. So if you don't make that measurement period, you don't get to play in Q4. But what's some dire advice from each one of you guys that you would give to other Q4 FBA players that are going to play in Q4? So Jameson, what would that be? If you could give one piece of amazing advice.
Stay off my listing is probably the best advice. No, I know for a lot of, there's so many new sellers this year if you plan on trying to, make a dent and stuff, I would get a repricer. You can get one for $15 a month and get in there and start moving product and flipping product and get your feet wet. I mean, that's about it. I'm not good at giving advice at this. I feel I don't know a lot about Amazon. I just freaking buy stuff, send it in, sell, rinse, and repeat. That's all I know how to do.
Well, that's funny. Cleater, what about you?
There's probably two things. I think the number one thing would be if you're a new person, don't see Q4 as the be all end all, because really all Q4 is for me is a chance to spend more money on better stuff. So if my budget was $1,000, let's just say as an example, it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't care about Q4 because I could spend $1,000 on good stuff 365 days a year. So for me, Q4 is just an opportunity to spend a lot more money a lot quicker. But if you have a small budget, don't overstress Q4. You need to be spending it now, tomorrow on good stuff. And I think that really like Jameson said, it is basically send in, wash, rinse, repeat, but try to be a little intentional. I mean, you have Keepa, you have Camel, you can research, you can see what the market's doing. And the other thing I would say is be intentional. If you're like, oh, my Q4 was bad because I had 2 days down because my printer broke or I ran out of labels or, crap like that. I've got 3 regular printers. I've got 3 label printers. I'm ordering probably 1.5 times of everything I'll need in polybags, boxes, tape. I've got a tape machine and a backup, multiple backup hand tape guns. So the trick is just to really plan ahead and be intentional. Know your vehicle situation, know your backup plan, because no excuse is acceptable. I mean, unless you're dead.
Yeah, true. I hear you. Do you have one of those conveyor belt looking things, the little roller looking things in your warehouse?
I do not, but Rose does actually have
you need
one.
to get
I
one,
may have to
dude.
get one to compete with her.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh, she does have one? Where's her warehouse?
Rose has one. She's in Illinois, I believe.
Okay, cool. And Penrod, what about you? dire advice you'd give to another Q4 player out there?
Don't panic and tank the listings. And Jameson's already going to be doing it. But and then the other thing is don't buy, because I see the number of FBA sellers increase on listings that are tanking. So if a listing is tanking, why are you going to buy it and put more products on?
Okay.
So those are the two things.
I'll say, if I could just jump in on that. Think about what Brandon said. Think about when the sale started. And that can be an indicator too. If you're buying something the last day of a week-long sale, the odds that someone else has a bunch of inventory that's about to go live and tank the price is a lot higher than if you buy it day one of the sale and ship it the next day.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you can be like in and out pretty quickly, is what you're saying, Cleater, right?
Yeah, Jameson tanks. I'm just gone before you ever realize it was a deal.
Oh, man. Dang. There's just like a cloud of dust, and Cleater's already down to the next stores. Like, and Jameson's still sending it all in. It's all good. Jacob Hallsinger is saying, Cleater is a prepper. You're a prepper, man. That's good. Okay. So, quick. Anyone can answer this question. For a beginner, how risky is Q4 really going to be? For a complete beginner, don't do it. Right? Complete beginner, Jameson. Would you advise a complete beginner that's never messed with FBA to mess with Q4?
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I mean, I would definitely get the ball rolling now, because who knows if Amazon is going to do the same restriction they did last year, where they didn't let any new people ship until after Q4. I mean, yeah, it definitely can be done. Like I mentioned earlier, my buddy that just started like a month ago, he's already got the ball rolling, and he's like learning stuff. Like a couple of days, he already sold $500 like in one day, and I was like, geez, dude, like, and he has no clue what he's doing. So I mean, anybody can do it.
Okay, we'll go to the next question with you since you're here, Jameson. But like, how do you do? Like, talk about research real quick. Like, really quickly. Like, how do you do any research? Or you just kind of scan everything in the aisles, and what's your method to the madness here?
Right now, like I network, because like, I mean, obviously I say that a billion times, and anybody can do that. Like, I have so many friends that are like experts in certain areas. Like, I'll even use Brandon for an instance. Like, he knows a crap ton about video games, but then I know a few video games he doesn't know. He's really good at Walmart, and I'm awesome at Target. And like, we sourced together for a week, and we like destroyed stores because we like, you know, we used all of our knowledge, and it's like just network with different sellers. I've had the advantage of meeting probably over 100 green room members, at least probably 150 green room members. And so I'm like constantly talking with people, you know, like I'll share like something a really good find with like these three guys or this one guy, and then like they'll share with me. And so I'm constantly getting new stuff in, so I don't have to do a ton of work up front anymore. I just share the knowledge with the people in my circle, and then they do the same, and it's less work. We can spend more time buying, shipping, and shopping, and killing it.
So smart way to leverage things. I like that, man. Cleater, what about you? When I say research, like what goes on through your head? What kind of research do you do? Or are you a huge networker as well?
I am. I have, obviously, you know, me and Jameson talks occasionally, but he never feels like I know enough about toys. But that being said, I mean, you know, you do 3 times a guy's sales and he still doesn't think you're good enough. It's tough. But yeah, no, maybe when I beat him again this year. But I reach out to I have another seller who's bigger than me and does mostly RA toys for Q4. So he and I will completely share all our buy lists, and we'll he's been doing it a year or 2 longer than I have. So we'll bounce all of our buys off each other and discuss how deep we want to go. But honestly, when it comes to research, there's just a lot of good stuff during Q4. That's the best part of it. So it's really just a matter of saying, am I getting this at the cheapest possible price? So I focus more on what's the market doing. You know, if let's just say as an example, a game is $20 at Target and you can stack discounts and getting it for $18 at Toys R Us. Well, you know what? As soon as they do a 25 off 100, somebody's going to get that game for 15. So just being super familiar with your price points, just walk around, learn the toys, learn what's popular. And also, if you are good at other categories like shoes and clothing, they do some crazy shoe sales at the outlets during Q4. I personally don't focus on them just because I want to do toys and I know toys really well. But I will say this, if you focus on shoes during Q4, you know, you're a lot safer because those are going to do just as well in January probably. Maybe less velocity, but, you know,
there's a strong
argument for it.
That's more of like a year-round kind of seller, a good pair of shoes.
Yeah.
It dawned on me today when I was working out in the gym. You know those like Yeezy shoes, the YZY, you know, like Supply 3. I don't know. They say like SPLY 350 on the side, but they're basically Yeezys, right? And there's so many different Yeezys. Has anyone out there ever found a pair of Yeezys like actually at the Adidas outlet store ever? I was just wondering that today, and maybe I'm pretty sure someone has. Like, I'm pretty sure something has slipped past every level of a store, and it's sitting there at the outlet level. I'm pretty sure that's happened to somebody, but I'm just curious at this point. So, Yeezys. Why is he? I mean, Yeezy. Like, they're just the Kanye West shoe. Like, that's the only way I can really say it. They're they're crazy popular. Crazy popular. You've never heard of a Yeezy, Brandon?
You never heard of a Yeezy?
I heard a Yeezy from Sheezy, but that's it.
Oh my god.
To me, they feel like an inauthentic claim waiting to happen. So even if I found them, I would probably put them on eBay. But yeah, Adidas does not like resellers. And again, if you have lower capital and you're wanting to chase those really valuable high end, which you should, if you have limited money, you should chase those. You know, the Hatchimals of last year, you should chase the. But I'm wanting to buy bulk. And Adidas does not like people who want to buy bulk.
Okay. We are at the end of the show. Let's get that last. I got to thank you guys. We couldn't make it through the entire outline, and I want to make sure that I hold true to the 1 hour show slot that we have right here. Are there any last words from either one of you guys? Maybe something that we didn't get to that you want to share with the audience, and then we'll give out the gift card, guys. I know it's going to hurt Cleater's feelings so much to like not be around the panel anymore, but that's okay.
Crushed, absolutely crushed.
Crushed. I know. Any like last words? Let's talk, Jameson. Sounds like you're about to get executed.
Wow. Last words. Oh, I got nothing.
Okay,
Sorry.
That's cool, man. That's all good. If you have nothing, then you've given it all, Jameson. That's great. Thank you so much. Cleater, what about you?
I would encourage everyone to look at a calendar, figure out when your payout dates are and how those reconcile with your shopping times. I personally, I know that I want to have all of my money spent in time to get it all shipped and get that money back on my next payout. So to me, the day after my payout, so my payout typically hits my bank on Monday. So on Tuesday, I know I want to spend super heavily because that gives me time to get it bought, get it shipped, get it sold, and get that money on my next payout. So I went through all of my old emails from Toys R Us, Target, even Walmart, and I looked at all their old sales, and based on that, over the last couple of years, I predicted what date sales would be, and then I did all the dates of my payouts, and so I predicted it, and I made a complete shopping plan, based on those projections. So just be intentional.
I love it. So analytical. It's like amazing, dude. It's good though. I mean, your brain just works that way. I mean, it's just the way it is. This is awesome though. Brandon, what about you? Any last words?
Yeah, I would say Q4 gets really hectic, but try to maintain balance through Q4 with family life and eating healthy and working out, which I need to get back on to. But I think, hey, we don't want to talk about that shirt that you had the other day. But yeah, I think that'll help you better maintain the stress levels and all the anxiety and stuff that comes with Q4. Just maintain balance. Doesn't mean you're not going to work more, but just make sure you're still getting the balance of your life. Keep that going through Q4. Okay.
Funny comment from Real Iron Dan. Okay, everyone knows who he is. But he says, "How the hell did Jameson get on this panel, not me?" I thought that was pretty funny. No, he's an animal, and he has left his full-time job earlier this year to pursue full-time reselling. So that's amazing. Okay, so that's pretty much the show. Jameson, we got one more, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Earlier, Rakin showed a board game that he had bought. You guys remember that?
All right, let's give this thing away, but you got to think of something that's like significant to this show only.
Okay.
I'll look into the chat. I have been paying attention.
Yes, I'm trying to think here. Okay, now
$5, John, that he doesn't come up with an idea.
I'll make it 10 that if he does, it's a bad one.
Now you guys are like making me embarrassed to get all nervous. Okay. Oh my gosh, now I'm really on the spot. If anybody thinks of something, jump in. I'm gonna try to think.
There's only 110 viewers that are waiting right now.
20 Cleater.
30 has something to do with the tank.
Okay.
50 his internet connection just dies out instantly.
or he pretends it does. He pretends it does.
And it's totally making me feel embarrassed now.
You're the oldest one on this panel, bro. Okay, the second oldest one on this panel, bro. Show some maturity. You got this.
Says the guy who always makes fun of my mom.
Ooh.
I don't make fun of your mom. She and I have a great time.
Okay, all right. We're just gonna make this super easy. It takes no knowledge at all. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, this is what we did when me and Brandon did a live show. If you can guess how many items I sold today, we'll do a $15 Starbucks gift card.
Oh, how many items you sold today? I like that. That's not even on the
Yes.
show, but that. Okay,
That
so
way you can just guess.
well, look at the feed and make sure you got the right.
Yep, I'm watching it right now. And you can guess as many times as you want.
Someone is get this. Cleater.
YouTube just told me I've been sending too many messages and blocked me, so I'm done.
All right, first one to get it, and you can guess as many times as you want.
All right, you know the number, so don't say it. I mean, see if you see it go by.
As soon as
I should have been like 6.
Oh my God,
7.
it's going so fast.
All right, so far nobody said it.
No one. Oh my gosh, how are you gonna see it? We're
No,
screwed. We're totally screwed, Jameson.
Reagan is like, this is awesome.
These people have too much faith in you. Start in the single digits, folks.
Have you seen it go by yet, Jameson?
No, I haven't.
Are you sure?
We're gonna narrow it down.
do you
We'll narrow
see-
it down.
Okay.
50 numbers go by in a second.
It's above 50, but it's under
You
100.
work for the FBI.
Oh, okay. Above 50, below 100. Oh, there it is. You better look. Keep looking, Jameson. I don't even know what the answer is, so I can't even help you.
James, you sure you didn't miss it?
No,
Oh
it
my
didn't
God.
go by. It didn't go by.
Ooh.
All right, well,
So
we're gonna
glad
help
this
narrow
is
it
going on
down.
in your channel.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's in the 90s. Okay, it's in the 90s. There, we helped narrow it down. Somebody was one number off. It's in the 90s. First one to say gets it.
Oh my God, we're screwed.
Cleater, you won the bet.
Oh my, all right, 91. 91.
Okay.
I think that was
Caruso. Oh no.
Randy, I think.
Yeah,
I believe.
Caruso. Is that what you see?
Yep, I think it was Randy.
Okay, I see it. Randy Caruso. Get with Jameson.
All right. Hit me up on Facebook, and we'll hook you up.
Jameson Philippi, Philippi.
IPPI, yes.
Okay. So Jameson Philippi. It's a $15 gift card. My God, man. We're never doing that type of thing again, man. That was
Never
too
hand it
fast.
off to the guest, Chris.
YouTube,
Mistake.
Oh my
YouTube tracks engagement, right? That's a heck of some engagement.
Holy crap. That was like scaring me, and I'm not even like, anyway, okay. So I guess we're good to go on the show. We might do another one. Maybe we'll have Dan and some other people on the panel for another one. Maybe we'll revisit this maybe closer to Black Friday, right? For some real strategy and stuff. But I think it was a great show. Rakin, you have any closing things you want to say?
Yeah, I want to say one thing that I've noticed about all of these guys ever since I met them on a serious note, and I think it's a great learning lesson for all of us, is these guys are masters at networking. Like, they might not admit it, but these guys from day one in the green room, like, we're always helping people, interacting with people, meeting up with people, like showing up. And like, that's half the battle. Like, so many of us think that we have to be like the smartest, brightest, most talented, know everything. But, these guys are all really bright, but they show up first and foremost, and they never give up. So appreciate you guys coming on, and get out there and meet people and give value, and it'll come back to you 10 times.
Yep, I like that.
Amen, baby.
All right, so that's pretty much the show, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button. We haven't asked it the entire show because we're just focused on the content. But hit the like button, please. And if you have any other suggestions for Green Room shows that you want to see down the line, let us know. Or maybe there's a guest that you want us to interview, let us know that as well. We'll definitely check that out. Thanks for joining the Green Room Hangout tonight. And to the panel, thanks for being here. And we will see you guys on the next Green Room Hangout. Take it easy.
Peace.
Goodbye.